Hello everyone, my dear students. Let's continue our Python journey. The previous lesson we covered two types of loops in Python, for loop, while loop. However, there are situations when something happens in the middle of the loop. Loop can be very long, and you have to get out of it or finish the loop prematurely, ahead of time. So there are two statements that may help you in Python to stop the loop, to get out of the loop. It's break. And there is a second one. It's called continue. It doesn't interrupt the whole loop, but it does interrupt just one iteration, because you may think about loop as many steps or many iterations. So continue is subtler, and it doesn't stop the whole loop, but it stops the current iteration. Let's go to the coding. So what you see here, I'm trying to print integer numbers, squares, and cubes. So 10 times I'm doing basically printing the number itself, the square, and the cube. At the end of the loop body, I increment I. But the interesting thing is here, because just in the middle of the loop, if my number is 5, I do break. So you see, break is always part of if statement. In a certain condition or conditions, you break. You get out of the loop. You finish it ahead of time. So let's run it. And what you see is, yes, only 5 numbers, squares. To be more precise, four numbers printed, both squares and cubes. But number 5, only square is printed, cube is not. And you see why? Because I did break before printing cube. So instead of 10 iterations, now in real life, my loop is only 5 iterations, and by the way, the 5th iterations is not complete. I did not print the cube. Continue. Now let's take a look. Again, I'm looping from 0 to 4. Remember, range. Last number not included. When I print the number, I print the square, I print the cube. Let's, for just curiosity, hide continue. Let's hide those 2 lines. Let's see what happens. So I'm looping from 0 to 4. I'm printing numbers, it's squares, and it's cubes. Yes, everything as expected. You see, for all the numbers from 0 to 4, squares and cubes are printed and loop finished message printed. Good. Let's restore. Let's see what happens here, because if my number is 3, I interrupt, but not the whole loop. I interrupt the iteration with number 3. So I won't print this, my iteration, my step. Iteration is the body of your loop, right? So iteration is interrupted, and this cube is not printed. However, I continue the loop. So my I is going to 4. So if I used break here, I would stop it and I would go to the print. But if I use continue, only one iteration is stopped, but the next iterations still working. Let's run it. And yes, you see iteration number 3 is not completed. Cube is not printed. But all the others are good as they are expected. One more question. If you have some previous programming experience, I'm sure many of you do, you may be wondering why Python doesn't have do-while loop. Basically, all the programming languages, they do have such a statement. It's very similar to while loop, but it's kind of reversed, because in a while loop you check certain condition, then you do certain job. In do while, it's the opposite. You first do something, then you check certain conditions, because sometimes you need your loop to work at least once. While loop may be empty. It may not work at all if at the beginning of the loop the condition is false. But do while loop is at least once executed. So I don't know why Python creators eliminated this, from my point of view, useful operator. It's called do while. Honestly, I don't know any programming language without do while, so Python is kind of unique. But using while true expression, so basically what happens here, let's take a simple example to explain you how you would do while in Python, because you don't have such operator. So let's say I'm asking the user a number, I'm typing the square of the number, and only after I did it, I'm asking the user if he or she wants to continue. You see the difference? The job is done, then the condition is checked. So, because I don't have do while operator in Python, I can do it using while true. While true is like endless loop, basically. So you're supposed to do all those operators forever. However, after you process a number, after you print the square of the number, you ask continuation, and if it's yes, you continue. If it's no, you break out of the loop and you go to the statement immediately after the loop. In my case, I don't have anything, but let's add it. That's the statement after the loop. Okay, so let's demonstrate this small coding, and it can help you in case you want to do while operator in Python. So that's how you can do it. Let's run it. And you see, first I have to do something. Then I'm asking question. So I can do this for as long as I press yes. But if I press no, the program is finished. So I showed you how to basically emulate in Python very popular, very common statement in many other languages, and it is called do while. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget about your likes, your comments. Please support the channel. And next lesson is super important. We are going to discuss functions. All the best. Bye-bye.